Hey guys, we're out here talking about how to improve on the 2-mile run today. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to talk about kind of the methodology on what I'm going to be speaking about. So you can go on YouTube, you can find hundreds of videos on how to improve on your run, your 2-mile run, and all these other things. But the difference is we also have to worry about other exercises as well. You can absolutely run every single day or every other day and make improvements. But if we're going to continue to be a tactical athlete, we have to try to minimize our running a little bit because it's so taxing on the body. So what I'm going to try to do is explain how to improve on your run through kind of more of a science-based approach while also minimizing the amount of time that you spend pounding on the ground. All right, so stay tuned. Now with any exercise, one of the best ways to train is specific to that exercise. So like the deadlift, you want to do deadlifts. When it comes to 2-mile run, you're going to need to run a little bit as well. The best way to train is to do that exact exercise. But we don't want to run too much to where it has a negative effect on our other ACFT events. So what we're going to talk about right here are a couple principles that I have used and my athletes have used in the past in order to improve on their run while also not having negative or too many negative effects on the other events of the ACFT. The first thing we're talking about is interval running. We've done it in the Army many times, but we're just going to cover it a little bit more. So we have 6120s, 800 meters, 400 meters, and then the 300-yard shuttle sprint. All of those things are great to do what's called improving your lactic threshold or improving your VO2 max. This is going to help you recover faster in between exercises, which is going to be really important for the ACFT because if any of y'all have taken it, by the time you get to that 2-mile run, you're pretty tired. But if you do things like this, improving in your anaerobic and your aerobic capacity, then you will be more prepared when it comes time for the 2-mile run event. The next thing we're going to talk about are tempo runs. I think these are some of the best things that you can do. Tempo runs are something that many professional athletes, professional runners do all the time. We're going to perform it on a smaller scale because we're not running marathons or even 5Ks for that matter. We're only running 2 miles. So what we're going to do here is these tempo runs are going to help us get used to that race pace while also not having to run a full 2 miles. Okay, so we're going to do a half-mile warm-up at a very, very slow pace. And then you're going to do a 1 mile at race pace. So if you have a 16-minute 2-mile, you're going to run an 8-minute mile right here. And then you're going to do a half-mile cool down. These tempo runs are going to be really, really good to improve your overall 2-mile. Now the last thing we're going to talk about is just building that overall aerobic capacity, aerobic threshold, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be your zone 2 runs. All right, so you're in exercise science, you have all these different zones that we're not going to get into. But essentially a zone 2 run is going to be something where you can talk comfortably and have a conversation with someone that's next to you. So think about this running where, for me, this is something that I do on the weekends with my kids, pushing them in a stroller. If I can max the 2-mile run event, I'll run 3 or 4 miles at a 10-minute mile pace. And that's just going to help me and help the rest of you kind of build up that overall aerobic capacity that you're going to need towards the end of that 2-mile run event. So the last thing that we're going to talk about is pacing. It's something that is completely forgotten. When you're on that start line for that 2-mile run event and you hear that go command, everyone takes off way faster than they should. So what I've done in the past with people that have their training on deck, they do everything they're supposed to do, but they're still struggling on the 2-mile run, I watch them. 9 times out of 10, they're the individuals that take off and run too fast. You shouldn't do that. You should slow down. That first lap should be your slowest lap. And then you progressively increase over time and get faster. You will make tremendous improvements if you can get yourself a watch and maintain pace throughout the entire time. I promise you, you do not want to make that first lap your fastest lap. You may be asking, how do I program this into my current regimen? It depends on what you care more about at the time. Do you want to do your cardio first or your weightlifting after, or make it a completely separate day? For me, I think I'm a fairly skinny guy. I have a good run time. So I'm going to prioritize my weightlifting first and do these at the end. So how I do that is on my easier lifting days, I'll do an interval. And this This is only once a week, maybe once every other week, maybe even once a month I'll do intervals. On my harder days, I'll do a tempo run. That's not too difficult. That's only about 6 minutes of work. And then on a completely separate day, I'll usually program a zone 2 as a recovery day. On a Saturday where I won't lift weights at all, I'll just run, or even just use the elliptical or something like that for 45 minutes or 60 minutes of a nice, slow pace. Okay, that's how I program them in. Maybe you guys should give that a try and let me know how it goes. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.